My name is Stowe. I'm a college success coach with Conexión Américas. Specifically, we have various programs helping students from elementary school. We have a parent-facing program called Padres Comprometidos, or Parents as Partners. It helps parents from Latin America understand how the school system works in the U.S. and how they can support their community and their students and their schools. Then we have a program called Gear Up, which starts with students in first year of high school and guides them all the way through post-secondary, supporting them, offering them lessons on how to prepare for college and how to be successful in college and high school. We have the Escalera program, which is in Glencliff, Overton, and Cambridge high schools, and it's similar. We have specific cohorts that we see through high school, and if students choose, they can transition into the Escalera Grads program, which is what I am a part of. We saw from our Escalera program that students were enrolling in post-secondary, but their persistence was dropping off. So we decided to start the Escalera Grads program to support them through post-secondary, whether it's a technical school, community college, four-year university, offering them tips and guidance and support to be successful college students as well. So the College Success Program begins really during senior year of high school. We begin the transition from Escalera to Escalera Grads, and we help students as they prepare with financial aid packages, understanding the financial aid packages, enrolling in orientation, enrolling in classes. So during the summer, we have a summer bridge program for our graduating seniors, and that's a week-long program, and we focus on things like how to be successful in college, tips, study tips, understanding the differences between high school and college, personal and academic things, so how your relationships with your family may change, how your relationships with your peers and your friends may change, especially as we're working with students who are going from some of the most diverse high schools in Middle Tennessee into many predominantly white institutions. So how to understand your identity, maintain your identity on a college campus. We have a professor come in and talk to them about expectations and what the syllabus is, how to talk to your professors. And then the students get to choose their level of engagement as they move forward in their first year of college and the years that follow. So we can meet with them once a month, and we talk to them again about both academic, professional, personal aspects, because all of those have to be balanced for them to be able to focus on their studies. So we talk about finances, mental health, community involvement, professional development, obviously academics and how their classes are going, and just any way that we can support them. We collaborate with a lot of other agencies throughout Middle Tennessee to make sure they have access and are aware of the resources available to them. And it's very student-driven, student-directed, so they get to choose, again, how involved they are. We have workshops and events like mock interviews and resume and interview preparation, and then sometimes just fun parties to celebrate them and make sure they're taking time to celebrate all their accomplishments. So Conexión as a whole, obviously there's a large focus on the Latinx and Spanish-speaking community. Many of our programs are offered only in Spanish, specifically the Escalera program, and that includes Padres Comprometidos. That program is in Spanish. But Escalera, the only requirement to be an Escalera is that you're a first-gen student. So obviously because of Conexión, because of the language, we do attract many Latinx students, and that's a huge part of the population we're serving. Most of them are immigrants themselves or first generation born in the U.S., but I definitely work with a large Latinx population as well as students from Nepal, Myanmar, Egypt, really all over the world. But many of our programs are only offered in Spanish. The staff at Conexión, everyone is bilingual English and Spanish. We collaborate with a lot of other community partners where there may be Arabic speakers, Nepali speakers, other resources, so that we can refer community clients wherever they need to go. So we work with students. Obviously, the Escalera program is only in 3 high schools within MNPS. But we work with students all throughout the state of Tennessee. On occasion, we've gone a little bit farther outside of the state. But while they wouldn't be able to participate in one of the regular programs like Escalera, they can certainly make appointments individually. They can have ongoing support to ask questions as they are transitioning, anything about education really, especially those who are transitioning from high school into post-secondary, when they have questions about financial aid, applications, what they're eligible for, depending on their documentation status. We have people at Conexión Américas, myself included, who are specifically assigned those community cases, so that I've worked with Shelby County schools, Knox County schools, and we're very happy to provide support for schools anywhere in Tennessee, even if they don't have a contract with Escalera or another one of our programs. I have gotten emails from counselors and especially a lot of ELL teachers. I think students see them quite regularly, become aware that they're kind of a safe space, kind of an ally. So I get a lot of requests from ELL teachers, and I'm perfectly happy. If students are not comfortable meeting with me, or if they want to meet with me or someone like me, with their counselor or with their ELL teacher. Sometimes it's a friend that reaches out, because I work with a lot of students who are undocumented, but they have a friend who's a citizen. Maybe the citizen reaches out and says, hey, I need information for this specific situation. I am certainly happy to provide the information to anybody. It doesn't have to be the student directly. But yeah, counselors, anyone who is an ally and an advocate, I'm happy to have the conversation with them, with both of you. Right now, it may be really difficult to focus on the end goal and to see the clear path to where you want to be for however many years from now. It can be really difficult to make a decision now when you're not going to see the benefits for however many years. It can be easy to see the money you could make if you don't go to college now, to start working now, to start doing something else right now. But even if you can't see the clear path to how it's possible, there are barriers, there are challenges in the way, make the decision that's going to bring you the best future rather than the best right now, which is really difficult to make sometimes, but it'll be worth it. So scholarships are essential for our students. College is expensive for almost everybody, no matter what. But our students, especially those who are undocumented or have DACA or asylum pending, those students are paying out-of-state tuition, and they are not eligible for the Pell Grant, for Tennessee Promise, or Tennessee Hope. When they're looking at state schools that their peers are seeing as the most affordable choices, they're still looking at private school prices for a state school without the financial aid. So merit-based scholarships, private scholarships are absolutely essential to these students, and there are fewer available, and they're more competitive. And when I say undocumented students, the information is pertinent as well to DACA students, which we're seeing fewer and fewer of, but also asylum pending students. So unfortunately in Tennessee, those students pay out-of-state tuition, and they're ineligible for the FAFSA, for Tennessee Hope, for Tennessee Promise. So no government financial aid, as well as paying out-of-state tuition. There are several scholarships specifically for these students, and the institutions that tend to be the better option for them are actually private institutions. So here in Middle Tennessee, Lipscomb, Trevecca, Cumberland, and Belmont. One of the most important things I can say is that it's essential that their parents are filing their taxes and filing their taxes correctly, no matter their documentation status. That's going to be absolutely essential for their students to be able to enroll in post-secondary. Again, filing taxes, your parents' recent taxes you're going to have them to enroll in post-secondary. So if it has been several years since your parents filed taxes, or if they haven't, even if they've been filing taxes incorrectly and need to make some corrections, Conexión Américas does offer tax services during tax season from January to April. But if you would like to get started earlier, or if our appointments fill up, you should still call Conexión Américas, because we know of several other agencies that are trustworthy, that are bilingual, that will help you with your taxes and will not overcharge you, that we know personally, that we trust. We can certainly recommend the best places in Middle Tennessee to go take care of any backlog of taxes. If you are documented, a permanent resident or a citizen, but your parents are undocumented, it almost changes nothing. You're eligible for the FAFSA, you're eligible for in-state tuition, Tennessee Hope, Tennessee Promise, all good to go. When you complete the FAFSA, there are a couple little things that you'll change. Where it asks for your parent's social security number, you'll input all zeros. Even if they have an I-10 that they use to file taxes, do not use the I-10, just use all zeros. It will give you an error message, but you can bypass it. You just click continue a couple of times, it'll let you bypass it. And then your parents won't be able to electronically sign the FAFSA. They'll sign it, they'll print the page, sign it by hand, and mail it in. And then apart from that, your process will be basically all the same. So it is completely up to you who you want to share information about your documentation status with. Of course, if you share with your counselor or maybe a teacher that you trust, they will have more tools, more knowledge to help you find resources that are going to help you better. But it is completely up to you who you share. That's your narrative, that's your information. And if you're not comfortable sharing it with someone, it's completely your choice. Again, it's up to the student. If someone asks you about your documentation status, you should know that they're not supposed to ask you that, and you can tell them that. You can say, that's not a question you're supposed to ask me. If you feel like they're an ally and you feel like they're a safe space, you can share that information with them. I think for counselors and teachers who are presenting this information to students, it's really important to not directly ask or call students out, but to offer inclusive information to all of your students. So number one, that's one way to let students know in this situation that you are an ally because you're thinking of them and you're here to support them. Number two, it starts to normalize the conversation for everybody that, hey, there are various situations among us and we're here to support all of them, and this is very normal. We're not judging anybody. So here's information for our citizens. Here's information for our undocumented students. And then if you are working with a student and you have a good rapport and a good relationship with them, you can ask, are you able to file a FAFSA? Will you be able to complete the FAFSA? That may be one kind of gentle way to ask them if they have a social security number or not. But our advice is always to let the student direct that conversation and put it in their control how much information they want to share with you about their situation. So I'm working with several students who are undocumented or who have DACA, who are currently enrolled in schools in Middle Tennessee. And just last week, I got to celebrate with an undocumented student who just graduated from Sewanee, University of the South. And she's working towards her future. She's got some plans in the making that I'm helping her with. I'm really excited for her. But I'm working with lots of students who are currently enrolled in institutions who are undocumented, and they're doing great. They are getting most or all of the cost covered for school, and they're doing a wonderful job working towards their futures, and I'm really excited about what the future holds for them.